Wow.
Thank you, Jens. Welcome to the International Segway Polo Association Board of Directors meeting, Sunday, April 12th, 2015. And I'm making a roll call on a call to order. And please reply with a loud and clear yes if you're here. Van Riesen, here. Crawforst.
Yes, I'm here.
Ralph Luther.
Yes, I'm here.
Sherry Ostermeer.
Yes.
And Olaf Funke is absent. So, moving on to the agenda, item number 3, approval of minutes. Sherry sent out the minutes from the 22nd of March. I hope you all got them.
Yes, I got them. I only got mine this morning, I think, or last night.
Yeah.
And I only have one comment.
Cool. Shall we do the comments now? Sherry?
Certainly.
Yeah, I didn't get to reply because no, there's instead of sponsored, I think it's supported. This is a 6B.
Mm-hmm.
This is about the ISPA sanctioning and the discussions. And I think sponsorship involves ISPA paying things. So I think we had all agreed on just using the term supported.
Okay, yeah, I do see that the logo he worked on actually says supported, so I will swap that term in.
In 6C, you have it correct and you call it supported, but in B, twice it says sponsored instead of supported.
Yes, I certainly do.
Okay, that was the only thing.
And in 6C, you say to use the term ISPA supported or ISPA sponsored. Yeah.
Take that out, yeah.
Okay, those changes are made.
Okay, and then the spelling of Detlef in 7C, it's an E. The O is an E.
Okay.
And that is, for clarification, I want to say that is the Zurich representative who insures most of the segways in Germany and has been very supportive of Segway Polo in the past by essentially underwriting or sponsoring the Zurich Cup.
Yeah. Detlef, exactly.
Okay.
So Detlef Knoll, his last name, if you want that, Sherry, is Knoll. Knoll.
Got it.
Knoll, as they say in German. It's English would be Knoll. So I think everything else is fine.
Okay, those will be made before they're posted.
Okay, so they're approved. Any objections?
No
I
objection.
can approve them.
Yeah, great. Joe, do we have the approval?
Yes, we do.
Brilliant. Thank you. So, scheduled presentation, we have none for this meeting. And then we have action items, both to discuss and possibly vote on law change affecting team versus individual membership.
I don't know if you all had a chance to look at what I have sent over. This has been a little bit, we discussed it the last time. I was actually, I attempted a Skype call to Sherry and Steve that I then didn't follow up on to get the American perspective on this. I've had more discussions with Olaf at great length, and it was partly prompted by Mark Weller in the UK asking how he could tie his players to ISPA, mostly for networking purposes, but he simply could not afford to pay $35 per player. So discussing that with Mark and with Olaf, and trying to come up with a solution that allows individual membership, at least in the interim, and eventually what we would like to do, I think, is for ISPA to be more of an umbrella organization for sub-organization, because obviously if you all think of the traditional structure from bottom to top, you have the player or the ordinary member, you have the team that they're part of, the team is part of a club, the club is part of a regional or then national association, that could then be part of a continental association, which then becomes part of a global association. Each of these layers, from the team onwards, comes with a level of administration. So there's elements of control and restrictions, and there's also obviously elements of costs involved in each of these. And I think eventually we need to bear in mind that ISPA would be a high-level administrative group, and we want to try and divest or delegate as much of the day-to-day membership management to the more localized units, obviously within a framework. And what has happened is that I think one of the reasons, justifications for ISPA has been that there wasn't such a thing, that teams would form on an ad hoc basis, but there wasn't a body nationally or even at a club level that would otherwise deal with the administrative work that falls on not related to a particular match or tournament. So with the evolution of multiple teams playing in the same city, like we have in Solingen and in Balve and in Loma and here in Barbados and now in the UK, I think we need to be open to structure ISPA membership in such a manner that ISPA will collect less money, because obviously if you expect a player to pay club membership, then membership to a national association, and then membership to ISPA, it's going to get very expensive very quickly. And to some extent, a lot of the functions are going to be duplicated. So what I tried to capture there in the document that I sent to all of you a few days ago is done with a view to lining us up in that direction. But obviously we still need to cater for individuals right now who are not associated with a club. And just to finish off, Mark Weller, he said he feels like about 10 US is probably what he can get and justify as a contribution towards ISPA for all of the members of what he is about to form. And he's very careful. He's asked Olaf and me all along the process. He kind of decided last week when his event was getting so much attention, and he's getting calls and emails literally every day of people asking, how can we play Segway Polo? Where can we try it out? What can we do? And you may have heard that not just BBC Click, but also another UK national TV station called Channel 5, the Gadget Show. The Gadget Show is hosted by the first UK Winter Olympics gold medal winner. It's a lady called Amy Williams. She's in her early 30s. And she's quite a celebrity in the UK. And whatever she does, she has quite a bit of press following. So she is potentially going to be at the tournament on Sunday, and she may actually play for one of the teams. She's never played Segway Polo before, but from a publicity point of view, it's going to be quite effective. So Mark wants to line himself up to capture all of this interest in Segway Polo. And so he's asked whether we would have any problem with him forming a UK Segway Polo Association. He's setting up a website, and he's essentially duplicating. He's using a different system, slightly different than Teamer, but with essentially the same functionality. And he's right now the membership is free, and there's different types of membership, and eventually, once they start electing people, then there's going to be an annual membership cost, which comes with the right to vote. And that would take a lot of the day-to-day management of membership issues away from ISPA. And I think that's the direction to go. And so he was very concerned that we may see that as competition, but I see that really as the next step and the evolution. And I would like to see other countries doing the same thing. So then what would happen is the UK Association will collect a single membership fee from either their clubs or, in the interim for now, from the individual members, and they will then make payments to ISPA based on the people they want to register with ISPA. And the main benefit he sees is that he doesn't think so much that the UK players are going to be wanting to travel to World Cups and play in international tournaments. He just wants to allow them to network and be aware, and also maybe have some tips or exchange videos and ideas on Facebook. And if somebody goes traveling, they can find out quickly where there's another team playing and that kind of stuff. So, because remember, our justification for ISPA to some extent was always that in order to play in the World Cup, you need to be ISPA member. That may not, in the long run apply to everyone necessarily, or it's not going to be a huge incentive.
I would have to agree that the WAS Cup being the only incentive for being part of ISPA is quite a downfall. It's not great. I didn't unfortunately have a much chance to look at the proposal you sent out, but I'm looking at it now, and I see indication of votes off to the side as corresponding to whatever category, individual teams, clubs, national associations. So those obviously would all need to be defined.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you have more information down below. And not quite sure what you're proposing as far as the votes go when you say voting for board members, voting for what?
When we have the ISPA elections. Voting for the board, correct. Yeah, the leadership. Or if there are issued changes to the Constitution, I'm not sure if right now the bylaws allow the board to do that, or whether that has to be a majority of all the members or something.
Yeah, that's currently board.
Mm-hmm.
So, right.
Okay, well, so we don't have that issue, but yeah. I'm just, I think, it's time to move on. It's good. I mean, ISPA has achieved the first step, and the focus is still going to be the main role. I think we always have is the rules, ensuring that the rules are uniformly applied and that the international tournaments are played to a minimum standard. ISPA, I don't think was ever intended to be a tournament organizer.
No, it was not. It was like you have just stated, to have a set of rules that doesn't vary from city to city or country to country. Have some nice uniform rules to follow. That's like primary, and of course, growing a sport is also very important. So I'd say those are the two primary goals of ISPA in the past and now, I would think.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of the different levels of membership. Obviously, we need to work that out very carefully to put it into the bylaws.
Yep.
And and I'm not quite sure if I am in agreement with the one vote per team type thing. I guess you're saying that the team captain or whoever the head of that organization would either vote what they feel like voting or poll their team, however they wanted to handle that to do voting.
That's how it was before. I think when we've had more than 2 years ago, I think team captains would gather the majority opinion of their teams. And then, I remember Barbados used to have 2 votes because we were able to field 2 teams to a couple of tournaments. And I think, Balverwood may have had 2 at some point. I don't know, Bo, if you remember, when you had 2 or 3 teams at the time, I think you would have had, even though you were all Blade, under that umbrella club. So, a certain number of members, I guess every 5 or every 7 members or something like that. This all needs a little fine-tuning and discussion to make sure it's fair. But likewise, I think Stockholm, if you have 2 or 3 teams, it should be a proportional representation. Definitely. But what we want to avoid is to have members who've never played Segway Polo, who live thousands of miles away from the nearest Segway Polo team, being able to buy a vote for $35 a year, or even less going forward if we reduce the membership fees.
I think, if I can add a section here, first of all, I stand 100% behind you, Ralph. I think this is the way how Segway Polo and ISPA is progressing. And I can see from Mark's perspective as well as here in Sweden, we have an organization that has been up since 2010, the Stockholm Segway Polo Club, which is a club only. But we have a very, very good structure in Sweden when it comes to national federation system, where a club belongs to the national federation in football, for instance, and that our national federation of football, for instance, is part of the UEFA, and then UEFA is part of the FIFA. And if we compare ourselves, or in the future of International Segway Polo Association, for instance, in FIFA, each national football association has one vote, regardless of its size or footballing strength.
Yes, eventually that's going to be a kind of a United Nations problem. I'm not sure we can jump to that right away.
No, of course not. But I'm just saying that I think we're heading slowly and steadily in that direction.
I'm not suggesting we do that. I'm suggesting there should be a proportional voting. I think if we had one vote for Germany and one vote for Barbados, or one vote for Spain if they, register for ISPA, then, that may not be, you may get Spain and, say, Belgium and Holland, who've never had a team at the World Cup. They get 3 votes and they would overturn the US, Germany and Barbados, who've provided, 60% of the teams in the last 4 or 5 World Cups. So.
No, I agree totally with you. I was just stating that I think, if we do now a change from individual to team, I think that's a first step, and that's a good step. And further on, when we see, let's see now during the next 12 months, if Mark Weller is successful, he may be building up a couple of teams in the UK. Hopefully, I'm pressing my thumbs at the moment. If that happens, then we will come to a point where we will have, as you said, a possibility to create proportional voting based on national associations when they're forming.
Yeah, if you look at the proposal, I try to capture that in there. So, whether you're a club with 2 or 3 teams or an association with 3 or 4 teams, both the more players you contribute, the lower your fee is going to be. And I mean, Mark was talking about as many as 100 players. So what I've done is I've said the first team is, $100 or $125. And then if you're a club, you got to have at least 2 teams. But then if you have a third team on their club, like Balve do or Solingen do, then your next team is only going to be $50 or $75 for the entire team. So your average ISPA contribution goes down significantly. But now, because you're administering 3 teams already, obviously you're going to be dealing with a lot of the communication. And for ISPA, we'd only be dealing with 3 of those team representatives. And potentially they all feed into one person who's heading that club anyway. Right? So it's a bit of a process of delegation and streamlining the communication also, while bringing down the cost, because, it's right now, I mean, ISPA is proportionally, very heavily funded by the German membership.
Yeah.
Just because that's where most of the players are. And they should, I mean, whoever does the funding should also have some votes. So, but at the same time, we don't want to lose those who just come together with certain teams for certain tournaments, and there's a few players like Lutz or Michael O'Connor or Sherry Steve, who one year will even play on separate teams. So we have to still make allowances for that. And we don't want to revoke their right to vote or have it some input or say in what's happening at ISPA.
No, definitely.
So, but maybe if you all could have a look at that and get back with some comments, and we can come up with a structure there. It ties in a little bit with the sanctioning, supporting, and the WOS Cup requirements in terms of ISPA membership. So if we can, for this upcoming WOS Cup, I think we still want, I mean, one of the things with the membership is also, and Mark made this point too, and one of the reasons that prompted him to create the association was that in order to be a member, a player member of that association, while everyone can sign up initially, once it's starting with a structure and it's starting to charge a fee and it's going to have an elected committee, then for a player member, you don't pass a driving test, but essentially there's going to be some requirement for you to be familiar with the rules of Segway Polo and with a certain code of conduct. And I think that's important, and I think that's something ISPA membership should also require, so that when an ISPA member, for example, should never allow a friend or neighbor to ride a Segway without a helmet. You know, we should all be trained in the basic instructions on people to try out. You know, if we invite people to come to practice for the first time, here we have very strict rules. You know, we don't let people play with flip-flops. We always give them a helmet. You know, we don't let them put the mallet strap around their wrist. So there's certain things that I think in order for you to call yourself an ISPA member or a active Segway Polo player, I think we want everyone to adhere to a certain code of conduct, essentially.
Yeah. Again,
this eliminates, you know, people with no connection to Segway Polo becoming ISPA members and participating or not, or at least claiming membership for one reason or another. I mean, we're not really quite sure what they intended to do with their membership.
So we'll do that, and should we then propose for the next meeting that we do a vote?
Well, I think we can just now go on to Trello and email and finalize that document, and when it's finished, we can put it to a vote. But I think it probably ties in with other changes we want to make to the bylaws or constitution.
Yeah.
So, on that topic, the other topic is, there's about $5,500 in the bank account and maybe $200 in the PayPal account. So right now we're not scrambling for funds as such, and unless we start spending it somewhere, I can't really justify charging everyone again this year $35. And you know, we just accumulate more money in the account.
No.
I mean, it's nice to have it there, but at some point we're going to have to do something with it. We need to either give it back, and you would have seen I've taken out the membership patches and membership cards, which may not be a huge cost, but it's administratively, it's a lot of work. And there's also a lot of associated shipping and handling costs because of the international nature. So I'm not sure that's the best use of ISPA funds. You know? So in the discussions with Olaf, we did want to provide, we discussed a few ideas. I can't find my notes now on that, where the team captains, when the teams have joined, would be provided with some kind of welcome package. And one of the things would be a set of the stickers that Olaf usually brings that are very popular. And it would be more kind of promotional material for ISPA.
Yeah.
I mean, he liked the patches too, but maybe that's something we need to look into it again. But again, it'll be a lot easier to send 7 or 10 patches to a team captain than to send them out individually every time a member registers on the website. So forcing the members to unite themselves in teams cuts down not just on the cost, but more importantly on the administrative work. So that was Olaf's driver, I think. I mean, I think I'm relaying that correctly. But maybe, Bo, you could have a conversation with Olaf on that matter also and get his views. And also, Bo, you would have a lot of input because you do have a lot of players in your organization, right?
Yeah, but nobody is looking for a patch or a membership card here.
Well, ask them. Let's ask them what they expect.
Okay.
What would they like? What do they expect to see? Do they want a website where they can contact everyone? Do they want a weekly, monthly, whatever newsletter? What do they expect to get? What do they want? Just some stickers for the back of their car? I don't know. Do they?
Not really, but I think that's the point we may discuss at the UK tournament, because there we are 16 teams, so we can ask everybody who's there what he will expect from ISPA.
Okay.
But as you know, there was such an I call it open hour in Washington DC.
Yes.
And the only guy who showed up was you.
I was there, yeah.
Yeah, you, me.
You were a board member or not?
Yeah, I was. Rob and Steve Osimir.
Yes.
And nobody else.
Yeah, I think it wasn't quite clearly communicated to everyone, though. I think that was the problem.
It was mentioned on boards and everything, and we talked to everybody, but nobody showed up.
Okay. Well, again, this makes it, I think, it makes a good case for why the decisions and the level of democracy may work better at a consolidated level of team representatives as opposed to involving every single member.
Yeah.
And if there's a team that has 3 or 4 vocal people, well, then by all means they're welcome to participate. But if 80 or 90% of the membership have no interest and they don't expect anything from ISPA, then we shouldn't try to engage them.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I mean, I don't know. Are there any other issues, Sherry, from your side? I still want to have the conversation with you and Steve at some point to get the US perspective. I'm not sure if I can get a hold of George or someone else. I mean, I talk to Mike O'Connor regularly. I don't know who else. If you guys, if you still practice regularly?
Yeah, we play every Saturday morning.
Saturday mornings, okay. And who are the guys playing there now?
Right now it's mostly new players. Besides myself and Steve, and Michael actually is going to be in town this weekend, so we're very excited about that. But it's just a new group of guys that have only been playing for, well, I guess they've been playing for about a year, but very informally, very much just a fun group together. Mm-hmm. We have tried to get Bay Area players to come up, as we have a field, in a standing practice, and like Steve Long, George Clark, mm-hmm. Paul Costas, and we're not getting them. For some reason, they're not coming up. I don't know why. But that's who we have playing right now. It's just a group of new people. We're trying to see if anybody is interested in attending WAS Cup or becoming membership. ISPA members formally. But I do like the way you put it was interesting. How you were saying that moving this direction towards a team membership versus individual. Basically, what I have quotes here is forces members to unite as teams. And it might sound a little harsh, but I think that's actually very positive and will work to get some of the people that are playing now to join. We can all join as a team, even if it's informally, because of the different levels that you have here. So, yeah, we get together, and I'll definitely let Steve know that was the intention of your call. We weren't quite sure what the topic was going to be.
Yeah, no, I was treading very lightly on that subject because I know the US hasn't had that strong tradition of forming teams or clubs for the long run, and I didn't want to propose a structure that it appears to be contrary to the customs and practices in the US. But if you feel that it may actually be a good thing, I mean, I can see your guys not having a prospect of going to the Voice Cup, wanting to pay $35 in addition to whatever they have to pay every Saturday to play. For the, I guess you have field rental expenses, or they all own their Segways, or?
The majority do, yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but we do have field expenses. That's about it.
Yeah, but see, that's why I was thinking if it's $100 or $125 and you can register up to 7 people, then, that's already, significantly cheaper than what the individual membership is right now. And
right.
It does allow us then to then once these people are registered with ISPA, because there is no US association and there's no club who keeps track of them. You see, the key is to keep them engaged and tie them or bind them to an organization. And so if we can keep them engaged through a cheaper membership, I think then hopefully we can, we'll encourage them to keep playing and come out for some tournaments, or even host a tournament one day.
Right.
So, okay. Well, good, then we've had that conversation already.
Well, I'll definitely let Steve know. That's I'm sure he has his thoughts. Trust me. And we'll see who else is interested in getting involved in that conversation before, we put anything formally together for the board to vote on, which I imagine would be coming up fairly quickly. We've been moving along pretty quickly.
Yeah, please share that document with them and talk. Yeah, and by all means ask your guys on Saturday how they feel, what they expect, and how they would feel about, forming some kind of Team USA or something,
Sure.
So, okay.
Okay, great. So we move on from number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Information items. Funke to follow up on volunteer. Since Funke is absent, I don't think we have any news on that one. Point 6b, Funke right from Nuremberg event. Again, since he being absent, I think we have to take that to next meeting. 6c, board members to discuss document on Trello.
Okay, I don't know if you saw that. Sorry, Sherry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was trying to think of which document I was referring to there, because that wasn't very clear, was it?
I don't know if anybody is on Trello. We have general to-dos, and there's a card in there under action items. And I've called it stuff that needs to be discussed at the board meeting. And I just put a checklist item, so it's like I don't know if that's the right way to use Trello or not. So the first one is discuss ISPA membership structure, individual, team, blah, blah. Good, just take that. Discuss membership levels required to participate in WAS Cup. So that ties in with that a little bit.
All right.
Okay, then we have the Segway Inc. letter, the sanctioning document, then we have the Facebook issue. So these are things I have here on my new business, not on agenda to some extent if it's not mentioned in the other items there. Rules committee was already addressed. And then we have the usual things that come every time, which is content for the website. And I just want to mention the last thing there, that we have a bit of an issue. But I'll mention that on the other business, not on the agenda.
Yeah, we didn't actually address rules committee since that was discussed prior to our starting the official meeting.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay.
So we'll want to add that in.
Yeah. Well, my suggestion here is we have items A, B, and G. And why don't we ask the secretary to send an email to the chairman with a copy to the other board members, formally requesting, because he's missed this meeting, to just give us an update on those items, including, because he's still the head of the rules committee, right? Oh no,
He is.
Mark Dickmans is, right? Or not?
He is a member though, I believe, right?
The member, okay. So he's a member. Yeah, no, let's then whoever is the chair. So let's formally ask the chairman of the Rules Committee to provide an update. Either now or I guess it's little time now, but my understanding is the Rules Committee was going to look at the implementation of the modifications that have been suggested by Mark Weller in the UK, and then they were going to discuss those things in the UK, and then I believe they were going to come up with a recommendation for what should be done for the World Cup.
Okay, I'll send a formal request to them.
Yeah, I think that's right, Ralph, what you said. That was the thing Mark Dickmans told us in the board meeting in January, I think. It was January or February?
The problem is I think we're exactly 90 days from the end of the UK tournament.
Yeah, could be.
19th of April is the Sunday, and 19th of July is when we're starting, so I think it's 91 days.
Okay. Yeah.
So we may have to, as a board, we may have to give a dispensation of that rule of the, is it 90 days or is it 60 days before the World Cup?
90.
90. Okay, so we may want to consider relaxing that in view of the dates, because I think it's important we include the experience from the UK tournament in any decision about the rules for the World Cup.
Yeah, the timeline is running out, though, so we definitely need some sort of action on that. Obviously, it's the Rules Committee's job to make any recommendations, to vote on those recommendations, but it's kind of our job to push them, at least for some sort of status of what's going on.
Yeah, I would propose that as a committee, we ask the chairman of the Rules Committee to give us a timeline. That we just tell him that we realize the 90 days is going to be difficult, but how soon after the UK tournament will the Rules Committee be able to present us with their modification for the World Cup?
And of course, the organizer, the host of the WAS Cup, doesn't necessarily have to follow all those recommendations.
While he is supposed to lay down his rules essentially 90 days before.
Exactly. So he's got the same sort of a time crunch and deadline that needs to be met very shortly here.
Yeah. But he will be in England at the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. We can agree on that. Sherry, you want to send something or?
Yeah, I'll send something.
Okay.
Okay. Shall we move on with stuff that needs to be discussed in the next board meeting, and just go through the list?
The informational items.
Yeah, or shall we do that under new business, not on agenda?
Well, we still had a couple of points on the agenda. We had the Skype, the Gmail,
yeah, exactly.
and the communication.
Yeah,
yes.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, regarding Skype options, I haven't been able to investigate it further, so I need to postpone it for next meeting again. Unfortunately, I just have too much at work at the moment. On E, I sent out a document to primarily Ralph and Olaf to where I drafted an email or a mail to Segway Inc. And I put that up on the Trello list, and I saw Jens, you commented on it.
Yes.
And I also just sent to Sherry. I just mentioned it. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see your update.
Yeah, I took a cursory look at it, but I mean, from what I could see, it looked good.
Yeah. It has been overlooked by Ralph, who has done a really good work in some rewriting on the tonality and language, and also to Olaf, who's made some comments. And if you guys think it looks good, then I would like to, you might say, I'm not sure if that's correct. terminology. And Sherry, do we need to vote on that, or can we just say proposal looks good and we agree that we send that to Segway
Inc.? It doesn't affect the bylaws, so I'm not sure if it requires a vote, but we can always take one. We have a quorum here, and we can do it now if you like. Make it formal.
Can I make a suggestion? Do we have letterhead?
Excuse me?
Sherry, do we have a ISPA letterhead? Actually, for a formal letter, even if it's attached a PDF document attached to an email, if we can scan it with a signature.
We have it. We have it.
Olaf might have it.
In the box where I uploaded the recordings, Sherry, there should be a letter.
Okay, I can take a look at that.
So maybe Alexander, what I would suggest, Alexander, is that you pull out that letterhead, or get it from Sherry or from Bo or somewhere. You do, I think it's 2 or 3 pages. You actually sign it, scan it as a PDF, and you send it to all of us for a final review, and wait for an email to say yes, that's okay to go out, because you're kind of sending it on behalf of every one of us.
Yes.
Yeah, but I would do the final document on the proper letterhead and all of that. Now, I don't think we need to send them a hard copy necessarily, but I think it should be a scanned copy of what is essentially a hard copy with a signature on it and so on.
Yeah, I think that's a great suggestion, Ralph. So what I'll do first thing in the morning when I go to my office, I'll make a printout. If someone could, if Ralph or
templates in box. Yeah.
If Jens or Sherry.
I'm looking for it.
Okay, if you can just attach to the Trello card.
I see BOD, documents and forms, templates, but I don't see anything in there. This stuff should really be in box, to be honest. We should have it in there. But surely Rob must have sent out some formal... I mean, Rob would be able to help us with that fairly quickly, I would think. So
we'll track it down.
Sherry, if you want to try and get that, and then maybe have a folder added to the templates folder in the, let me see, the business cards. No, those are all business cards, but okay. Documents and forms. There's a folder in box called Documents and Forms, and in templates, unfortunately, it doesn't. It just have a BOD. It just has a BOD agenda template.
Yeah, there was a letter from Rob to Olaf where we allowed him to use his new batteries. No?
Could be, yes.
There was this letter, but I don't know where it is. I saw it somewhere.
If we can't track it down, then either Olaf or Rob should be able to provide it. And we don't want to spend too much time just poking around here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we can get that as soon as possible, if we can't find it, shall I make a new letter template for a formal letterhead and
I'm sure Sherry and Bo will find it.
Yeah, great. Sherry, can you for simplicity, when you find it, add it to the letter to Segway Inc. Trello card?
Yeah. If I have any trouble with it, I'll let you know.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Just take attachments in the on the card itself and just upload a document, and it will be in the document.
Okay.
Brilliant. Then Van Riesen, Ralph, or Lotte Gmail options, and here as well from my side, I haven't looked into it, unfortunately. Ralph, I know you haven't done so much. You gave me access to GoDaddy, and I connected to them, and then I didn't do more.
Okay, well, let me know if you need anything else.
Yeah, I will.
Or if I need to do anything.
Yeah.
But
and
I have spent, I could have, and at some point I offered that I could have looked at the Gmail thing. I spent a lot of time on the UK tournament, and also obviously on clearing up some of the social media and the website issues. So I see that as a priority just because of the attention that
I think you're
to get. So I felt that was a little more important. Honestly, I'm not 100% comfortable with the edsegpolo.org emails not being archived anywhere, meaning that while those exist as addresses, they're just forwards and they now go to our personal individual emails. So it's going to be difficult later on to pull those back out. And it's also in our own interest. I think it would be better if we had email addresses that belong to the organization, just in case, God forbid, there's some kind of complication or problem. You don't really want to have to disclose all of your personal emails. Just that's what you can find. So at some point we should look into that.
Definitely, and I think if we get those emails coming into our inboxes, it's pretty easy to filter them out. And when we get the Gmails set up, we could then basically just filter them out from our own inboxes and then basically forward them to once again, and it will come into the Gmail inbox.
Okay.
But I think you make the right prioritization with supporting Mark, and I think he's doing a great work at the moment. I've been in contact with him over the weekend. Next item is to discuss referee headphones, and that's again Unke. Sherry, you updated something on that as well?
Yes, Olaf asked me to see what options might be available from a U.S. Distributor. And I did come up with something that looks like it might be a viable source. So I put that information up for Olaf to take a look at.
Yeah. Brilliant. So that closing the informational items. Moving on to 7. No new business not on agenda.
Yeah, and the item that we had there at this point is the Rules Committee requesting the quarterly update, and I will be following up with them formally with an email request for that.
Right.
So if anybody else has anything else to add there, we'll put that in as well.
Okay, I gave you a rundown on the UK Segway Polo, the letter, the bank account, the balance is fine. Again, I haven't made it a priority to formalize. I at some point I had the objective to at least for March 31 to have a document with the money in and money out and the balance at the beginning of the quarter and the end, and to put that on the website because we do have a section there that does show the financial accounts. We don't have to do that, but for transparency, it may be a good thing to do that.
Yep.
On the financial side, I would like to make a proposal. I would like to propose, and I guess we need to have a vote on it. I have not discussed this with Olaf at all, but I would like for ISPA to support the UK tournament with $500, and I would like for ISPA to support the WOS Cup with $1,000. So I don't know if you all want to think about it and we vote on that next time. But I think we have some funds in there. ISPA needs to be seen to be helping and encouraging people to organize tournaments. And obviously we're not. It's a one-off. It's a decision on a vote. It's not an ISPA rule. We don't have to do it again. Nobody who's organizing a tournament should assume that they're entitled to any money from ISPA. but I think ISPA did support the last World Cup in DC. I can't remember. Sherry, you remember what it was? It was $500, I think.
I'm not sure the dollar amount, but I know it did take place. Yes.
So that's my proposal. From a financial treasurer point of view, I don't have any problem with that. We're not putting anything at risk. I mean, we obviously, I think, want to reimburse whoever purchases, subject to the committee's agreement, the referee communication system. But I think there should be a reward for tournament organizers to comply with the support or sanction requirements. And there are expenses. I mean, Olaf emphasized that again. One of the most expensive single items is the medical, having the ambulance there with staff. And I know from our tournament here, that was a big item too. So I think we want to be seen as helping there.
I think we can vote on it, and I will second it.
Okay, so what we would need to do is we need somebody to make a formal statement of exactly what we're voting on, and you can do that, Ralph. Then we would have somebody second it, and then we take the vote.
Okay. So I'm proposing that we support the UK tournament with $500 and the 2015 World Cup with $1,000.
I second it.
Okay, let's put it to a vote. Say Van Riesen?
Yes.
Okay. Luther?
Yes.
Forst?
Yes.
Ozdemir? Yes. And Funky? Absent. So the motion passes.
Good.
Simple as that.
All right. Yeah, and then the last item I have is the social media. I sent an email earlier today. I've been in touch with Rob. There were several issues that come across as I was digging into the different presences, or I don't know what it's called in technical terms there, but basically there was a Facebook identity called ISPA that had befriended a whole lot of people, and none of us actually remembered who it was. And I just sent an email to Rob, and he said, no, that's me, and he set it up. I think Tima has some kind of Facebook integration, and he didn't want to use his personal profile, so he set up this identity. He gave me full access to it. I've kind of hidden most of it, and so eventually that can be abolished, so there's no confusion with new people who are looking for ISPA on Facebook, befriending and not really understanding what it is or who it is or what they're communicating or what to expect from it.
Are we going to have Teamer point to one of the other Facebook pages, or what are we going to do with that part of it?
Well, I've started looking into that. I would like it to point to the official ISPA Facebook page. The problem is, and I haven't figured that part out, I may need to get help from Tima or play around with it. It asked me for my profile. Obviously, it's a page that I'm an admin on. So I'm not quite sure. Tima should be capable of dealing with pages as opposed to individual accounts. Obviously, each page is tied to one or multiple individual accounts. But I haven't gotten to that point yet where it allows me. I just have to play around with it.
Yeah, I haven't not been able to figure out the how they interact with each other either.
Again, I mean, I think if things happen, the idea is that if things happen on Tima, if there's an announcement or news item, then it'll automatically publish that on Facebook. But again, that requires active management and a lot of time. So I'm still more in a process right now to reduce that functionality as opposed to increase it.
Sure.
And it'd be easier to run. I would like to expand the Facebook page. So the first drive would be to get all of the existing members into that. Now, we had, for the last 3 or 4 years, been using groups within Facebook. And there was a team representative group, and then there was an all-member group. And I'm in the process, even though somebody still needs to give me admin rights for the team representative one, so it can be shut down. But I need to just double check all the names in there that they're actually in the other group. I think they are, but I don't want to close that group without making sure everyone is in there. And then I can send a message to everyone. And then we have that one group, so that's a secret group, and people can only join if they're invited by someone. That has pretty much everyone and anyone in there who knows anyone with Segway Polo, not just active members. And for now, I don't think that's a bad thing, but eventually I would like to move all of those people over to like the Facebook page, where they can then get a bunch of information that ISPA wants to distribute or make known. And then essentially that group, we can decide later on whether we'll reduce it, we'll throw out everyone who's not a paid up member, or whether we keep it as a secret group but open to anybody who has a genuine connection to Segway Polo and who may have something to contribute, and share stuff in there. But eventually it'll lead to confusion. I've seen it with other groups that I'm running, groups that I'm part of and stuff. If you maintain too many things in parallel in Facebook, people think they've posted something in one place or they've read something in one place and not in the other, and then they go back looking for it, and they get very frustrated because they're convinced they saw something on Facebook and then they can't find it.
Yeah, I actually ran into that a bit running the elections, where we had 3 different Facebook pages where I would post stuff just to make sure it got to everyone out there, because I didn't know what people were looking at. But I mean,
I think election stuff, to be honest, we should not be using Facebook. For member communication, we should not be using Facebook. We cannot expect everyone to be on Facebook. We can expect everyone to be on email.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's just one more way to reach out.
Yeah. And so we can use, for general information for the general public, I think we can use just the ISPA Facebook page. And for ISPA internal communication with members, that should be done by email.
Yeah, actually, I found it really got quite a few new members to join that would not have otherwise, become paid members. Which we're obviously changing how that whole thing works, but the election wound up pulling a lot of people in. We had quite a nice little spike in funds in December because of it, and I think that was mostly because of Facebook.
Yeah, but because we hadn't specifically emailed people, I think.
Emails should have gone out to everybody who was in Teamer. But not everybody knew what they were or responded to them.
Yeah. So. Yeah. No, I think for now, I think we want to continue using the Facebook group in parallel to the page, definitely. The page just doesn't have enough presence as yet. There's only marginally more people, I think, liking the page than there are in the group. But anyway, that's an ongoing project. And, there's one other issue. The old website, Segway HT Polo, was supposed to have been shut down, and it's not. So, unfortunately, under certain search terms, I think Segway Polo rules, that'll still rank very highly, and people get to click on it. And that's a bit of a problem. So Rob is looking into that. Do you remember the old website?
Right.
Which is Segway HT. Okay, wait, no, it's not showing. It's showing like number 7 or 8 in Google search. But then, I don't know if this is a clean search or tainted. But that website was supposed to have gone down. Rob has some theory of the people who let it lapse, and then somebody else bought it, and for some reason the server is still pointing to somewhere where it shouldn't point. But anyway, just be aware of that. It needs to be fixed.
Really? Yeah.
Okay.
So, I'll just So, any new business other than that from anyone?
Nope. That's all I've got. Right?
Okay. I'll move to section 8. In that sense, BOD member comments.
I would just like to say that although you see us pushing past a lot of the things on the agenda, postponing them, I think it's very important to have them there, that we have direction and we show the community that there are things that we're thinking about and working on. You just can't get it all done that quickly. It's much better than having an agenda that just has 2 or 3 items on it. So.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, no, I think we should try and share, and I mean, while we can keep the discussion during the week or between the meetings mostly on Trello and email, whatever we have discussed, even if we haven't concluded anything or decided anything, I think we should share that in this forum, in these recorded meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, anything?
No commands.
I would just like to say, Ralph, I'm getting energy and I think you're doing a really great work. So I just like to comment on that officially.
Yeah, I warned everyone, and I've warned people here before that if you put me on a committee, it's not going to be easy for you all, because I expect you to do at least as much or more.
Yeah, no, I like the energy, and I gives me energy as well. So it's really, really good. That's the only comment I had at the moment. Sherry?
No, that was all I had.
Okay, then I officially make the adjournment of the International Segway Polo Association Board of Directors meeting for Sunday the 12th of April.
When will the next meeting be?
Yeah, we've been pushing them out 3 weeks, so
let us schedule that one.
That would make us May 3rd if we're interested in keeping this pace.
I think we should, because there's a lot of things happening. We then have had 2 weeks after the UK tournament, and it will be May 3rd. It's 2 months, a little bit 2.5 months before the Wuxi Cup in Germany. So if everybody's fine with that, I think May 3rd is a good date.
Yeah. Sure. What time should it be? Same time or 1 hour earlier? Or?
I'm flexible.
Ralph?
Yeah, I think I prefer this time. I know it's tough for you guys, but I mean, Olaf works very late usually, but well, let's try an hour earlier. I'm not sure what.
We can do it at 11 o'clock. It's no problem for me.
I mean, we're now getting these done in an hour or just over. It doesn't last 2.5 hours more. And then, occasionally, I think last. I just gotta check one more of my calendars here. Make sure. This 3rd is fairly open.
Okay, so 3rd sounds good. And what time are we going? At the same time or 1 hour earlier?
If we keep it down to 60 minutes, I'm fine with going at the same time.
why don't we leave it at the same time for now, and then a couple of days before? Maybe if we can get the agenda and the minutes from this meeting a little earlier, then we can get some feedback.
Yeah, I apologize for the lateness, and Bo, please send me that recording as soon as we're done here.
Yeah,
I'll post it up on Box.
I uploaded it right after the meeting. Okay.
That'd be great, because what I do is, I take notes obviously throughout the meeting, but I like to go back because I miss things, especially when I'm talking. I don't take the notes while I'm talking, so I don't know what I said unless I go back and listen to it.
Okay, no problem.
We appreciate you keeping the notes, the minutes.
Yeah, very much. Sorry.
Very important job.
Okay, so we're set for same time, May 3rd then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same time.
All right, I guess for the Europeans it's late, but Sherry, is Steve there? Do you still want to have a conversation with him, or?
I think he's available if you want to.
So should
stay
I
on or
should I stop
drop?
the?
Yeah, go ahead and stop.
Okay.
Well, someone has to formally adjourn.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I officially adjourned the meeting.
Okay, and I stop the recording right now.